Okay, recording now. So I start a new project for it, okay? I start with the empty activity. We even have one for the login, if you want. Could.
So are you recording this?
Yes, I'm recording. We have one for the login. If you want, could try to use that. But I'll call it login app Java Marshmallow, pretty much the same as a couple of times before. Okay. Okay, I'll change it here to have the same size, and also here I'll change to show system Y. I'll take this hello world off. I tried to make it a little bit faster, but if you have any doubts, you could ask, okay? I will put here one plain text for the login. Okay, I'll call it user name edit text. Perfect. Okay, the text here I'll put it empty. I'll create the constraints, and I'll put as a hint type the username. Okay. Now I'll put a second one for the password. You have one for password and password numeric. I use the password one. I'll put the constraint to keep on the same left and right as the other one, and want to have some space between them. We always need constraints for the horizontal or the vertical, always, okay? This one will be for the password, so a hint will be type the password, okay? And then let's change also the ID to be password edit text. Perfect. And I think that's it. Now we need a button. A button here. I always try to keep on the middle of the other two.
Okay.
And the text will be login. And I'll call the ID will be login button. And refactor. Okay. I put the checkbox. I do first the first part of the login. So go to second, then we do the part of the
Second to
yes. Okay. So let's check this error here. Is about the touch size. Let's fix it. Also the same thing for the touch size. Fix also. Autofill, we don't want autofill. No. Hard-coded text also, let's fix this. To put on the string file. Will be username hint. Contract ratio, okay. Autofill also no. Hard-coded text fix also will be password hint. Color radio fix and hard-coded text login button. Okay, so I think that's it. Okay, now I'm going to create the second activity. So file new activity, empty active. That's it. So I call it main activity 2. I don't think it's a good name. Okay, I will call it second activity. Okay. I don't know why the keep memory changes. I think that's it. This error that gave to me is because I put this on Dropbox, so Dropbox keeps syncing and sometimes it changes the file. Okay, normally you don't have this kind of error. Just let me check if my string file is okay. I think it is. So login button, password in, username linked, and so now on the second one, for now I will not have anything. I just will set title to be a second activity. Okay, that's just it. Okay. Now let's move to the code. Okay. So now if the user type the right username and the right password on the login, we can do the login. Okay. So I'm going to declare here the two. I will need the two edit texts. So edit text is called. I put the same name as I put it here. One thing that's good for you is to have like names that's easy for you to find, not like something edit text 1, 2, 3, or 4, 5, like, because if you get a bigger project, you probably end up like being hard for you to understand what the code is doing. Okay. And another edit text for the password. Okay. Then here we'll do the username, get by ID, r.id.username.
Sir, can you create a separate function for this?
Simple function for to do what?
To get the username and password and check if it's correct or not.
We can, yes, you
Right
can.
now it's in the main function, right? On create function.
Right now I'm just going to pick up find view by ID. I just going to,
Okay.
I think it's good practice for everything that you're going to use to have on the onCreate to initialize them. Okay. But we can, we are going to put here like a function public void login button pressed when the button is pressed. View. Okay, so when the button is pressed, here's pressed. If we want, we could have also a function here public boolean check credentials that you pass the string username, string password. Okay, so we have like a function for that. I don't know, that's what your
No, because I wrote those two lines inside this function.
this function. Okay, that could,
Okay,
could
okay.
be done also, no problem at all. Okay, so here if username equals now let's see, compare I think you need to use compare because normally password we want to equals ignore case. Uppercase and lower cases are the same for it. Okay.
Okay.
I think it's compared to that, but I don't recall this function. Let's see.
No, equal doesn't become case sensitive.
Yeah.
We don't want case sensitive.
We want username and password should be
Yeah,
sensitive.
username password.
It will
should
be
case
sensitive, not
Yeah.
insensitive. So I'm going to use this compare to. that I don't recall how it works. Let's see. String compare to Java. Let's see how it works. So it returns, if they are the same, it returns 0. Okay, so let's just check if they equal 0. Okay, because if one is bigger than the other, and it compares the Unicode. Okay. So in this case, it's case sensitive. Okay. Now let's compare also the password. Password compare to the password. Oh, actually, we need to compare to something.
Yeah.
Okay.
Admin.
So mark,
Okay.
and my password will be very hard. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Sir, equal to 0.
Yes. Thanks.
Sir,
So
is, why if you use equal
Com-
equal to?
Equal to 0.
equals to 0, because we use this function compare to of Java that says what? It compares each character.
Even the case sensitive, not case sensitive.
It's case sensitive.
Yes, this one is case sensitive. So if I type, for example, my password, my username, I type like this, it will check if there is uppercase M.
Okay.
Okay, that's why I use this compare to. Also, string have others function. I think we could use also. Let's see.
Yes, sir, I used
Equal,
equal.
equally did not keep their assignment.
Equals also
Yeah.
can use that. Okay, there's another. Also contains, you could content to equals, we could use also. Has a lot of form for it to do. I don't know which one's the best. Probably you should check on the menu which one's check for Java. Okay. So if they both are equal 0, we're going to return 2 because their credentials are okay. If not, we are going to return false. We don't need to put else because else is any, if it doesn't check 2, it will put false. Okay? Okay. So now we want to do this where? When the user press the login. Okay? So let's do. If check credentials, let's put username edit text, get text to string, and then the second will be password, get text to string. If they are both true, if this returns true, the password is okay. So we are going to move to the next one. So intent equals new intent main activity dot this second active dot class. So the intent receives the first context which the activity is creating, and this where we go to, what will be created. Then we're going to start the activity with the intent. Else, we are going to put a toast message. Make text main activity dot this, then the text itself. Okay, we should put on the string file. Okay, just to make it easier, we won't put
Invalid.
error user pass and toast
Long.
long show. Okay, I think that's it for the first part. Okay. Now what we need to do, we need to put, say, on the on the interface that when the button is pressed, it will call this function. So we go here on activity main, select the login button, and then here on click we can select it login button pressed. So every time you press here, it goes to this function here. Okay, so let's test if this works or not. So let's put something that's wrong. Login, error, user pass. Okay, good. Now let's put the mark and 1, 2, 3, 4. Login, and move to the second activity. When you go back here. Okay. So the first pass was okay. I think it's the easiest one. Okay. So now we want what? We want to have here a checkbox that when it's checked, when you go back, you have also a checkbox here that's also checked. Okay. In order to make a full example, let's do something else. Let's also have here, if it's checked, the second one will be checked. So both of them have the same value, okay? Always. If the first one is checked, the second one is checked. If it's unchecked, they both always have the same value, okay? So let's put 2 checkbox. Instead of checkbox, let's put the toggle button just for us to see something different. It's the same principle. Everything works pretty much the same. It's just visually different. Okay. I think this one is a little bit prettier. So let's put here on the middle of the login, just right. Okay, I think this is good. That's called login toggle button because it's on the login page. Okay, de facto. Also give me a warning of the ratio. Let's fix it. You fix it and it doesn't change anymore. I will ignore. What's happening? It has a text here, but it doesn't use a text at all. So let's take it off. I don't know why it has. Because only on off, I think. Okay. And now we want one for the second activity. Let's also put on the second. Just to have something different, we use switch or we use yesterday? We use switch or we use so let's use a checkbox.
Yes.
So we can see an example of each one of them. So we have used 3 times. Not that make a lot of difference, but so I put the constraint so it be keep on the middle of the screen. I'll call it second checkbox, since it's from the second screen. The text will be check it, just so. And let's put on the string file, check it, checkbox. Okay, so I think that's it for our design. Okay, so now let's do the easier part. So now we want when he is checked, he will also be checked. So let's do this. So on the So let's put an extra here, intent. Put extra. We could put a Boolean value. Okay, put extra will be checked, true or false. But let's put, we need first to get it, right? It's, I put a toggle button. So let's create it here, toggle button. Toggle button. What's the ID that I gave it? Login toggle button. So let's copy it here, so make it a little bit easier. And here we are going to login toggle button, receives find viewer by ID, r.id, bot, login toggle button. Okay, so we have it already, initialized. Now we do here, login toggle button, get, check, no, get, is checked, sorry, yes, is checked. Okay, so it will put true or false for me. Okay. Okay, now we move to the second one. Second active. So on the second active, what we need also, we need to have an object for representing this checkbox here. So let's declare here. So checkbox, second checkbox, and here we're going second checkbox receives view by ID r.id dot second checkbox. Okay. Now we could do it here on the onCreate, okay, but I'm actually going to do on resume. Okay. Why is that? Maybe I don't know, since this is like something that appears to the user as visually, I want to get it on the last moment that I can, maybe change later on. Okay, so sometimes things that you want to change on for the user, you just do it just before it appears to the user. In this example, it doesn't matter, but in a lot of examples we are going to need this, just for us to make use that on create normally you initialize things, but you change things for the user normally here on the create. Okay, so also here at set title you put here. Okay, and now we are going to get the extra. So bundle extras receives get intent get access. Okay, if this is not null, we are going to get the checked. Checked receives access get boolean with checked. One good practice for you to do to make sure that you don't write it wrong is to always copy and paste. So if you make a typo there, also here you have the same type. Now, second checkbox, set checked, choose this checked value. Okay? So let's test it. Also, good practice for you programming is what? Do some function, test. Do something else, test again. Okay? So let's type it here. Mark 1, 2, 3, 4. Login. It's not checked. Now let's go back. Turn it on. Login is checked. Okay? Now we want, if I uncheck here, also here will be unchecked. Okay?
It will be off.
What?
It will be off or on?
Should be off.
Off. Yeah.
Now we didn't implement this. We just implemented this part that here is off, here is off. If he is on, he also is on. We just implemented passing information from the first screen, from the login screen, to the second one. Okay. So yesterday we saw, I showed you how we could do this with this on activity result and start activity for result, right? But I said that was deprecated, that we shouldn't use it, okay? So my idea was for you to search for it, so let's search it together to see how we could work with that. So check deprecated. Let's see what it says. What's the alternative? Stack Overflow normally has a lot of good answers. Let's see. This one has 641 volts, so probably the new way on Java. You have some activity result Java. Result. So we need to create an activity result launcher that you have implemented inside a function that we say what you're going to do with it, okay? So instead of have a function outside, you're going to create an object that has a function, okay? So let's copy this.
So can't we do that with just a listener? Unclick listener?
No, because this is actually an activity result launcher.
No,
So it's
not
going
this-
to-
not this one. The objective which we have right now is to click on the second page
Mhm.
and accordingly toggle the first page, right?
Okay?
So that can't that be done with the listener on the second page and passing the information to the first
No,
page?
because you don't have, you cannot, because when we create, when we are creating the second swing, we are just creating here on the start activity. So it doesn't exist yet to be listening to the events on the first one. It will exist only in the future. Okay, for example, let's do a little bit, I think it will be easy. Okay, we have here the first swing, okay, and here the second. The first one was created, but the second one still does not exist. If you create a listener from the second one to the first one, this listener, you will not be listening because it doesn't exist yet. It just start listening when you say start activity. So you'll never know that the toggle button changed here. Okay?
And what if we create a new listener on the second screen for that box and then transfer it through another intent to the first box? So there are two different intents working over here simultaneously.
No, I think that also will not work because also when you change activities, this kind of lose the context. It will not have access to the context. So you will not get the information about if the toggle is on or off.
Okay.
Okay?
Got it.
So you need to work doing this with messages. One other way that I probably will show you today, maybe Monday, is to have what? Have a singleton class that you have variables there that you could everyone, you save there and everyone has access. So you don't need to do all the job of sending messages. Okay, so let's implement it here, this activity launcher. So let's call it second activity result launcher that will register for an activity result. Here I need to import the class, and here also import the class. This one here. Okay. So if the result code of the activity is result okay, we can get the data And we could let's do bundle. Oh no. Get access if date dot get boolean checked. I'll keep the same. Is true. Oh, not. Let's do it like this. Let's do like we did before. Let's put here boolean checked. And let's put on the toggle button, login toggle button, set checked to this checked here. Okay, so it's pretty much is similar to this here on activity result, but instead of you having a method that you need to keep in the request code, you create an object that keeps tracks of it inside. Okay, it's pretty much the same thing. The sun is right in my face. Okay. So, and when get the data, and you need to get the boolean for it. Also, probably you want to check also if this data exists. Okay, if data null, also good practice will be to check if this boolean exists or not. Okay, but we are not going to do that. Okay, but it's good practice for you to do that. Okay, also we need to, instead of start activity here, we are not going to use that anymore. Okay, we are going to use this result launcher to start the activity, to launch this intent. Why is that? Because it's going to, this second activity launch is going to deal with what? The return of it. Okay, the idea of this function is that it will launch and you wait for an answer. Okay. So let's see now. So mark 1, 2, 3, 4, login. Okay, let's change to check it. We go back, nothing changed. Why is that? I forgot to do the on back here, right? So let's on back pressed. I will keep the super on back presses. This is similar to call finish. Okay, it's similar because super on back press normally calls the finish button, the finish function. Okay, so now we are going to do what? We need to create an intent that's empty, new intent. We need to put set exa. Oops. Put exa. Sorry about that. Put exa. Checked. And the value of this checkbox is checked. And then we need to do what? Just like we did last class, right? We need to set the result with this intent. So set result int code activity result, okay, and intent. So the result's okay. It here, if the result's okay, is going to do all this. Okay? So here mark 1, 2, 3, 4. Login. Now I check it here, pass back, it's checked here. If I turn it off, turn off. If I turn it on, off, off. Okay? Just like we wanted. Okay, so far so good. Yeah, because I know this part here is kind of like, it's a lot of code that we copy and paste, but you have a lot of details here. I know that every time I need to implement this, normally I Google it because I never get it by heart. This. Okay. Now I said to you to have another challenge was to use an alert to check if the user really wants to go back. Okay, so let's do this now. Okay, so the idea of the alert, Java was evolved using design patterns. Okay, it was the first language that people start seeing problems repeating and see patterns repeating. Okay, so I think back early 20s, 4 guys sit together and create a book. They call it even Gang of 4, that create a book of design patterns. They create, I think, 20 something design patterns. And even today, we keep creating more design patterns. Okay, and Android has used a lot of design patterns to create a good architecture for us to use. Okay, one design pattern that we talked about was the listener that keep listening, because it's a common problem. You have a button, you can listen in multiple places. Okay, also here, alert has another pattern. Alert dialog is the builder pattern. What's the idea of this pattern? You have a builder that you create all the configurations that you want for the alert, and then all the credits set it on this class. Use the builder to create an alert for us. That's the idea. So that said, how this works. So we have the builder, we create alert builder equals new alert dialog builder. Okay, what do we need for it to be create an alert? Just like every visual component, everything that access the system, we need the context. Okay, so like we use on the toast, we also use here a context for it. Okay, then we can set properties that we want. For example, set adapter, set the title, set the icon for it if you want. Okay, so let's set the title attention. Also, let's set a message. This also should be put on the Swing file. Okay, just for us to be faster here. Are you sure? No. Do you want to go back? Normally, a good practice on some apps is to, when you're on the last screen, you check if they really want to exit the application or something like that. Here, not go back. We do want to log out. Since we log in, now we are going to log out. Now, normally, on alert, we need what? We need, with that, we can, for example, alert So now with all the settings, we can create and then show it to the user. Okay, I will just going to comment this because you're going to use later on when press the button, but just first to see this. So now, so mark. Sometimes also, just to give you a hint, maybe on your final application or your work on applications, you have a login page and you have another page and have another page. You want to work on the fourth page on the SQL. Like for example, you build your application to have, that's my, no, here. You have your application that has like a lot of screens, and you go to this one, to this one, to this one, to get to this one, and you're testing something on this one. So you need to, every time you lose a lot of times for if you, for example, to put the right login, you can change the launcher page if you want. Okay, so you go here on the manifest, just for you to know, we are going to change it back later on, but we can change it here. For example, we see here we need to be exported, and then you need to change it. Oops, not like this, to have to finish here. You need to change a little bit to be just like this one here. And then we pick up the intent filter and put it here. So now if I save it, it will start on the second one. Okay? So it's easier for us to test. Okay? So now I press here back. Do you really want to log out? And I don't have any button. Okay? Now we should put a button for that. Okay? So normally you can create, before the creation we want to set buttons for it. Set, so we can have multiple choice items. You could put there for checks, select something, for example, and you have negative button already implemented, positive button, and neutral button. Okay, we have these three options. Just normally we use positive and negative. Okay, so for negative button, here is check for attacks. We could put here like no, but no is a word that used a lot inside Android Studio. So we can pick up the text from what? From a string file from Android. That probably I have had a lot of type of no in different language automatically. Okay, so let's do that. Android.r.swing. So we have a swing file from Android, and you have a lot of words. Paste, for example, paste as plain text, video error. We have a lot of words here. And you have a word for no. So let's use that. So make it easier for us, okay? Now, the second attribute is what? Click listener. In this case, when you press no, I want to keep on the same screen. So I don't want to do anything. So the listener will be no. Because the dialog is like what? If you press anywhere on the screen, it dismisses it, okay? So, no. Now we want the true. So set positive button. Also going to pick up from Android, the R class from Android. Oops, R, uppercase. Is swing. Yes. But now I want to have a listener. So new. Dialog interface on click listener. The autocomplete is very good in this case. Okay. So every time it gets a click, go to this function here. Okay. And now I'm going to pick up this code that I comment here. Put it here and call it finish. Okay. Why I will not put super on back pressed, because super on back pressed belongs to on back pressed, that belongs to this class second activity. But actually here, I'm creating a listener here. So super will be super of this dialog interface, okay? So we should not do this super on back pressed. Okay, I think that's it. Let's now test it. Okay, so check it. Do we really want to log out? Cancel, keep it here. Okay, and we have an error. Let's see why. Look at. Check.
Normally around 250, something like that.
250.
Yes.
So you've done your break already.
No. Normally do after the 2 first hours.
2 first hours. Okay.
Yes.
So I come back at 4.
Oh, okay.
I would like to see one student.
Okay.
During your break.
Okay, no problem.
At the break, she wants to talk to someone's view. I don't know which one, but she said she'll come back 4 o'clock during your break. Okay, so we get an error. So when we have that, we open our logcat. Let's see where it happens. Okay, so check it, back, okay, and then nothing appear here. Oh, I know why. Because we have finished the application, we don't have the first screen. I'm thinking about having the second screen, but I don't have the first one. So now we need to go back on the manifest, and I'll do Ctrl Z to get how it was before. There we go. Now let's press play again. And now let's type it. Login and password.
Small.
Oh, sorry about that. So it's worked. So now check it, go to. Do you really want to log out? Okay. Let's so again. Okay. And that was it for exercise. Okay, any doubts about that? You want to explain any part of it again? It's okay? Okay. So let me stop the video so we have like organize it.